Okay, this is such a hill. Yo, another day, another adventure with your homeboy Jermaine, and getting this video started off. Just doing a little skateboarding in the financial district. Just got done dropping off a little delivery. Just got me a little $5 tip. People are happy. They dropping them little tips. I like it. Smooth, cool. Another day, another adventure, another day. Yo, let's get this video started. Ow! Which way? I guess I'm gonna go this way, right? Let's go this way. Hey, how's it going? Right, a little bit later, still daytime, out on the bike here, and it was locked up somewhere, and guess what? Someone came out. When I came out, someone had stole the battery. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this because I know a lot of people like red power bikes, and I've influenced a lot of people to buy red power bikes, but I'm just gonna have to say this because I don't want this to happen to anyone else, especially here in San Francisco, because this is going on a lot and I know of this. I haven't said anything about it because I didn't want to say anything bad about red power bikes, but I'm just gonna have to say this because people need to know about this. If you buy one of these bikes and you live in the city, now if you live in the suburbs, this is different, right? But if you live in the city where you leave your bike outside, maybe New York, San Francisco, Portland, I don't know, places like that. If there are a lot of red power bikes where you live, what happens is every 10 keys, I don't know if this is true, but someone told me every 10 keys, the key will work for someone else's battery. So if someone has the same key, they can just go up to a bike that's locked, turn the key and see if it works. And if it works, they can take the battery off and it's not their bike. Now this is a problem, okay? This is a big problem. Now I've known about this for a couple months, and I was actually thinking about this earlier today, but how exactly do you lock the battery to the frame? Like, you would have to take the battery off of the bike, which would be very inconvenient. If I had to take the battery off of the bike every single time, I wouldn't ride the bike, I would just take the skateboard, because the battery it's not too heavy, but if you gotta take it off every single time, it's almost like I would rather just carry the skateboard around with me. So now I'm gonna drop the bike off. I don't know when I'm gonna ride the bike again. The weather's getting to be kind of bad. I'm gonna have to order another battery. Another battery is like $700. And I'm just kind of like, I'm not really bummed out because I knew this was gonna happen. Like I knew this was gonna happen, you know? Like I just knew it because I just knew it. Like things were just going too good for something bad not to happen. So I knew this was gonna happen. I'm not upset. Like I'm just like bummed out. I'm gonna go grab the skateboard, and yeah, that's pretty much what I got going on now. Okay, all day for some reason, they've been wetting up Market Street. Like, I've tried to take Market Street all day, but I always avoid it when it's wet because they wet it up for some reason. I have no idea. Like, I believe maybe it's because they want to keep skateboarders off or something. Because on Sundays, like, there's a lot of skaters come to the city. Maybe they do it for that reason. Like, all day it's been wet. Like, ever since this morning at like 8 a.m. Wet for what? Like, no one... Like, it's not like it makes no sense. Can someone please explain why it's always wet? It's not like there's people crapping in the middle of the street. People are gonna crap on the sidewalk. And they hardly ever wet the sidewalk up, but the whole Market Street's been wet all day. I wonder what's up with that. Even when I'm on the bike, I always avoid Market Street when it's wet. Because it's really easy to slip and fall when it's wet. Like, maybe that's why they wet up the street, so people can slip and fall and crash. Like, I don't get why they wet the streets up. Maybe to keep skateboarders off, maybe so that when people drive around in their cars, it gets their cars dirty and they have to go to the car wash and wash their car because the street is wet, and whenever you make a turn, the water flies up and get all over your car and makes your car dirty. I don't know, I'm just being random here. What is going on, y'all? All these people in the street. You okay?
That's great.
So it's a San Francisco thing. People like to sit in the street. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. Like, yeah. No, I don't even want to film. All right, y'all. Just another day in the city. Just another day in the city. Wow, what a crazy day. I'm telling y'all, this city is going down the tubes, and it's only getting worse. It's only getting worse. I'm gonna later, like probably tomorrow, I'll make a video talking about why I think, you know, the tech industry leaving. Why I think the tech industry leaving is gonna hurt the city even worse than if it stays, you know. Now, when I say the city is going down the tubes, it has nothing to do with my battery on the bike getting stolen. It actually has something to do with just the pandemic in general, and just how crime is just really, really high. And not only just crime really high, lately I've been seeing a lot of people like just laid out in the street. Now, just in this video, I think I've actually filmed 2 people just like laid out in the street, right? But I actually saw like a handful of other people like just laid out. Like, you just see people just out, and it's like, are they sleeping? Are they on drugs? Are they dead? Are they just taking a breather in the middle of the street? Like, there's just a lot of things that are going on here that just doesn't really make sense. So when I say things are going down the tubes, that's what I mean. And also, you know, jobs and less taxes that the city is making. You know, when the city is receiving less taxes, you know what that means? That means that there's going to be less city services. There's going to be less people, you know, cleaning up the streets. There's going to be less people helping out with the homeless situation problem. There's going to be less city workers. There's going to be less funding for the city. And maybe, like I said, I'll make another video talking about that, because I think that will be probably the time I'll take off and leave San Francisco if things aren't getting better. Because just right now I'm noticing like it's winter time, and we'll have to see where things go in the winter. Looks like a lot of people are already taken off and left the city. You can kind of tell this by like, just go to certain neighborhoods and just look at buildings and look and see how many lights are on and lights are off. Some of these buildings, it's more like 80% of the lights are off in the building. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that 80% of the building is empty, but just use your imagination. If the building was 100% full, would you see 80% of the lights off in the building, you know? So I don't know. The bike getting stolen, the battery getting stolen. Like I said, I knew this was gonna happen. This is just something I really want to warn other people about. Like, I can just go buy another battery. Like, I'm not really tripping. Like, this week has been an amazing week. I had another partnership going on with another app that it's like this Chinese app that like helps people learn English that I've been working with, and I did really,
really well with that app this week. I've made a ton of freaking money this week with this Chinese app. So I'm not really beat up about the bike and the battery. But I understand there's a lot of people out there that have rat power bikes, and maybe you don't want your bike, you don't want your battery stolen. So I'm just warning you guys, maybe figure out a way to, I don't know how we would figure this out, but maybe we should figure out a way to like lock the bike with something extra. But it's kind of weird because I don't know, maybe we'll have to look on YouTube and figure out a way to like lock the bike to the frame, or you can take the battery off of the bike. But that can be a really big inconvenience, especially if you're out riding the bike and you don't have a backpack on. Like, what are you going to do with the battery? I also notice a lot of people, they ride bikes without backpacks. So if you ride a bike without a backpack, when you go and lock the bike up, what are you going to do with the battery? Like, carry it in your hands? So it can be a huge inconvenience. I don't know. I'll figure out the whole bike situation later. Who knows? The weather's going to get crappy here soon, and I'll probably rent a car and drive around and stuff. And, I'm not too beat up about it. It's just the cost of doing business in San Francisco. Another way to look at it, too. Let's look at it this way. This is a better way to look at the battery getting stolen. So if I rent a car, right, I'm going to spend about $500 a month on gasoline. And a new battery will cost, about $650, $700, and I can keep using that battery over and over and over. So if I buy a new battery and if I can keep it for like 6 months, or if I can keep it for 3 months, I'm doing better than driving a car and renting a car and parking and dealing with traffic and having people breaking my car and stuff like that. Because having a car is a whole different expense. Okay, it's a whole different expense. Maybe I won't get maybe someone won't steal the battery, but I could get a parking ticket that's $100. I could get a ticket for doing an illegal U-turn that's $300. I could get, the car, the windows smashed in. I could have all three of these things happen on the same day. That would be $600, the cost of the battery. But those things you actually can't write off on taxes. You can't write off tickets on taxes. You can't write off a smashed window, but like I can totally write off a freaking stolen battery, or the new battery that I replace it. So I don't know, it's not that big of a deal to have the bike stolen, to have the battery stolen, but like it is annoying because like it's my bike, my battery, and someone's out there messing with it. And that's just kind of how it works in San Francisco. If I would have like called the cops would have just let them go because it's under $950, and they just would have let them go. So if the person gets away with stealing the battery, now I have to pay money, Now I'm out of a battery and I have to like pay more. But if I was there and I caught the person stealing the battery, they would just be let go out into the street to go steal another battery. And possibly I would get my battery back, depending on the cop. Possibly I could get it back, or maybe the cop like confiscates the battery and says, okay, you two have to go to court and fight out for the battery. And I'm like, well, yeah, this is my bike. The battery came off of my bike. I have the keys to it, and yet you don't believe me. Okay, I understand. But that's just kind of how things work here. Things are not the way that, things don't work here the way that they should. When you call the police for someone stealing something, it's not that big of a deal here, versus if you call the police for someone stealing something in New York, it's like a completely different deal, right? For example, like if you are shoplifting in Target in San Francisco and you fill up a shopping cart with like $500 worth of stuff and you wheel that shopping cart out of the store, well, if there's a cop in the store, like he'll stop you and stop you from taking the items outside of the store, but chances are you won't get arrested. You'll just be free to roam around and go and hit the next store. However, in New York, this doesn't fly. You try to steal something in New York, they're gonna lock your ass up, because that's where you need to be. If you're stealing, you need to be away from honest people that are working hard and paying taxes and supporting things. When you're just out taking and stealing, you're not good for society. You're actually really bad for society. But anyway, I don't want to make this video bashing the police or bashing homeless people, because I know that if you say anything about homeless people in San Francisco, it's almost like talking about religion, or it's almost talking about politics or something. Like, you shouldn't really talk about homeless people here, because they have more rights than me, basically. So we shouldn't really talk about them. They're perfect people, and they do a lot of things on the street, and I'm out. Okay, that's this video. Anyway, I'll see y'all again tomorrow in another video. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, yo.